Hi there, welcome to Europa Universalis 4. Third Rome has released, and I've looked around it, I've tested it a bit, and I want to play this. I'm usually much into Stellaris, but I've always played like the EU4, the CK2, and all that kind of stuff. Like a lot. And so I want to also bring this in a Let's Play, and we want to make a special Let's Play of it. Like, how special? It's going to be a role-play special. It's going to be kind of also some kind of historical special. What do I mean with that? It means that we will choose like something that is like historical for the Third Rome period. In that case, we'll go for Muscovy. I've looked around, and especially the Muscovite ideas make it really good for a Third Rome playthrough, especially here. Like, that is flavor. Descendants of the Byzantine emperors were united with the Byzantine emperors of old through marriages and alliances. This makes us the descendants of an ancient imperial line of both great influence and ability, and will further our political ambition. I think this signifies that Muscovy is the state to play, to impersonate, even when going for a Third Rome. And it was historically like the same. Like, first in 1393 or something, Tver had a claim on being the Third Rome due to a legend of a monk there. But then that came over to Moskva when the Ottomans defeated Constantinople, and it's close to falling already, and we'll claim that title then. That's basically the idea. Now, what is role-play in EU4? I mean, for me, it would be role-playing the personalities here of our ruling family, of our ruler mainly. So if he's good in administrative skill, we will play him so that he is basically mostly going for administrative decisions. Like this guy here, Grand Kniaz Vasily II Temny, would prefer administrative actions like improving the provinces, improving development, going for some tax decisions maybe. Would definitely prefer that over military actions, but he wouldn't like frown on military actions. Like 3-1 signifies for me also like the character of this guy. In line, we'll try to play it in line with his personalities that are added by the game. I don't know, I think he's an intricate web weaver. I've looked at him, and so he'll try to go for espionage actions, like spy actions against the big enemies of Muscovy, like Novgorod or Lithuania, or maybe even Kazan and the Great Horde. Like, these would be our typical enemies. So, but you have to differentiate. Like, this would be basically only our political enemy, because they have the same faith. Then Lithuania would definitely be a political and religious enemy. Like, they would be, because they have Orthodox faith, but the state has, I think, Catholic faith. And then we have the Great Horde and Kazan that are both, like, mostly military problems, but need to be converted more. Like, it is not like it's a religious conflict, but it's in the view of the Orthodox faith. These are heathens that can be enlightened, so to say, and they may become friends, as it has happened already with Perm, which are also horde-like organized, but which are now, I think, at least on the way to orthodoxy here, to Orthodox. They're a vassal. We have a lot of vassals here, and one of the first things to control, or to one of our first missions, so to say, is to take control of our vassals, really, and to integrate them into Muscovy. That would be like the mission we're on. And like in general, what would be the goal as Muscovy is, once Constantinople has fallen, we'll try to make Moscow the new capital of the Orthodox faith. So as soon as that is possible for us from our power, we would claim the title of the defender of the faith, of the Orthodox faith. And like in all of that, we'll try to be historical in a way, in that we will respect what, not only the game terms, like the game actions, but we'll try to do things that the historical persons would have done. So not all. Of course, over time there will develop an alternate history, which, so we're then historically in a way that we will respect the people that lived there. These artificial, maybe they are real in a way, right? Who knows? I mean, Elon Musk says like we're living in a computer simulation, so we'll respect how the people lived there, how the boyars lived there, how the how simple agricultural people lived there, how like the soldiers lived there, and like how the customs were, like to a point. So I'd like from you input in how it was like feeling at that time. How do you think it was feeling? Also, I'd like to have, because I haven't played really seriously EU4 in like about 2 years. We'll have great plans, of course, that are bound to roleplay mostly. Bound to the historical missions, if you want to say, like uniting the Orthodox faith, forming Russia. These are goals of our roleplay. And where I would like to have help, if you see that I'm doing things not that efficiently, is on the micro level, so to say. So if I make some decisions from the new enclaves or something like that, not really that efficiently, I'd really love to have some help there, because I haven't that big of an experience in that part of the game yet. I mean, I've been quite a good EU4 player, but that was before a lot of changes. This game has gone through a lot of changes, so it's kind of a new game for me, and it's kind of also like on the macro level, I'm pretty familiar with it. I'm pretty familiar with leveraging alliances and going for like strategical decisions and all kinds of plans like that. And what I'd really love help in is like how would the people feel, and what would like a ruler like Grand Kniaz Vasily to do like on the micro level as an administrator that he is. Also, Kniaz, I've looked that up. Like, if you look around, there's another Kniaz. Yeah, that's... Kniaz means, like, he's some kind of noble, a duke, a king. Most probably a king, if you compare it, for example, to the Germans, where you have a lot of small countries. Then this would be the equivalent to a king. And the interesting thing is going to find out if we can, play in a way that is historically believable and from a role-playing point of view identifiable. And we'll have to do sometimes, because we have characters here, not just modifiers. Like if you're going for only gameplay, you treat these rulers mostly as modifiers and as like opening chances for certain actions, and we're trying to identify with how would the people react. So the interesting thing is what will develop out of that, what irrational actions will we have to take, and how can we deal with them too. So without further ado, let's start with Moscow. I'm sorry I talked so much. We'll still have to look at the options, and contrary to this being like a historical LP, I think that the random luck of history should not be historical, so that it forms like it was. So I think it forces, if you say the hand of the digital god, if you go for historical, you have like the same old suspects. But I think that the historical luck cannot be forced. It was coincidence, luck at a certain time in the certain situations. And so we're going to set lucky nations to random. We're going to set the difficulty not to very hard, not to something like easy, not to normal. We're going to set it to hard. We're going to be like little bit bold. Like for roleplay, this is going to be probably very hard, but yeah, it should not be a cakewalk. It is. It should help us like experience also the problems one could have as Muscovy in that role of maybe a defender of the Orthodox faith. And we'll also go into the Orthodox faith a bit. Like, if you have questions about that, or if you have answers, even better, because I've got a relatively solid historical knowledge, but not a deep one in that case. So if you got a deeper knowledge, if you maybe you're Orthodox yourself, that is possible, right? Absolutely possible. Then you could say how it is today, like in the Orthodox faith, or if you know something like about the metropolitans that were like people like guarding the faith, as like I understood, like they have been organized in holy synods, and like that would be some sort of little parliament for the priests of the Orthodox faith. If you have deeper insight in that system, that would be really nice. So also we want to show the text income because that's just nice. Fantasy random new world controls the chance of fantasy elements such as highly advanced native empires to appear in the random new world. I think we're not gonna have a random new world, so this is not going to be something that is relevant, so I'll not change it. And we have custom setup. We won't change these values. It's just going to be a lot of standard in here. And we also won't custom the nation. We'll just play Muscovy. And later on, hopefully Russia, because that's part of the game, of our mission, so to say, of our historical mission, maybe, as the Third Rome, as the defender of the Eastern Orthodox faith, is that we want to unite all the people that are Orthodox. So we would maybe try to claim the areas of the other Orthodoxes, or be friends to them. But in the case of Novgorod, they are definitely bitter enemies to Muscovy, so they might be our rivals. These guys might also be our rivals. I'm not so sure about the Great Horde and Kazan. They might not be our rivals in the beginning, because they are not as inimical to us, and also not that powerful yet. So they're not that dangerous. And our first mission really is to cope with all the vassals we have. You'll see that soon when we... Yeah, let's start the game. Muscovy, earliest start possible. Let's go for that. We'll go for normal mode, not Iron Man mode, because I might have to re-record something if something goes wrong. I don't want you to miss a part. I'll not reload on any mishaps or any mistakes I make. But the game can crash sometimes, and some things can happen when you record, and yeah, sometimes things don't get recorded, or I forget my hard drive is full, and all kinds of that because of that. I'm doing the normal mode. I mean, if we're doing things wrong, the game is very long, and really losing as Muscovy is kind of hard, so I'm not afraid of it or anything. I'll just reload on these mishaps that I've said. So if we're going to get pounded on by like Novgorod and Lithuania at once, we're just going to have to live with it and try to wriggle ourselves out of it, hopefully with your help. So let's start the game and look at the situation a bit. Initializing game. Yeah, I know that EU4 is kind of an older game, but it has stayed young really, because it has frequent updates, and it is really a great game. And if you listen in, I think you can already hear the new music. The Russian music. So, what should we do first? We'll have a look at our court first. Let's see, we have Grand Kniaz Vasily II, Temny Rurikovich. He's a careful one, and he's an intricate web weaver, which means he'll probably not launch a campaign against Novgorod early on, which other people would do, because it's like maybe not an equal opponent, but it's a strong opponent, and he won't go for that because he's careful. As you can see, I mean, the AI ruler thing gives you some kind of tips how to roleplay this. AI ruler with careful would overestimate enemy strength and start a one-sided war. So if we would start a war, it would maybe be one against Ryazan or maybe Kazan. I think Kazan is also not that strong, with all their steppe nomads and all. Then we have an heir, Ivan Veliki Rurikovich. Look at that. He's wow. He's just a talented guy. He's only 4 years old. He's really good. We won't claim another guy. I mean, we'll just hope we get him because he would be a great military leader, as good as his father in his administrative and much better diplomatically. So he would be more like a warrior, but a diplomatic warrior, from the values here. Then we have the Queen, Maria Rurikovich. With one military skill, she's probably more on the peaceful side. She's also an intricate web weaver, more diplomatical than her husband, and she'll probably support him on going the way of the spy. So we're going to go for probably spy power. And we also have to see, I mean, what would be the focus of an administrator? Probably administrative power. That is really plausible. And we'll look at advisors that might fit this. We'll go for the plus one advisors, because more we would probably not be able to afford. Let's see, we have 3 per month, and I think we should hire advisors, definitely. And what would he go for? Maybe prestige? Prestige is something close to the heart of someone who leads wars. So it is like a so-so position. Probably his wife would say, we don't need that much of prestige. We will go diplomatically. Then we have Theophylact Apraxin, limiting the national unrest. So we will have to see, do we have unrest somewhere? I mean, we have... I don't think we have. I think we have... Let's look at the religious map here. We have... This is like, I think, of another religion. I think this is... Yeah, this is Sunni. But even there we have no unrest. So it's probably not needed to have him here, because there's no unrest really here. So what we would have to do here is to convert this, but we cannot do this because missionary strength is not sufficient enough. So one of our quests, so to say, is to try to find a way to convert Kasimov, so we can change its culture too. Then we have all our vessels. But let's see first what advisors would we take. So prestige would be something. We have a decay of 0.35 yearly. So this guy would add some prestige, slowly but surely. And he would add some points. So that would be at least moderately useful. I don't think we should hire him. Vasily Kamensky, an advisor dedicated to the study of the fundamental nature of knowledge, reality, and existence. Then let's look at our diplomatic advisors. I mean, that guy would probably be hired, of course, but we cannot afford him, really. I mean, spy network construction, that would be what the king and his wife would go for, but it is like, as we have so good administrators, or at least we prefer good administration, it would be irresponsible to go for someone with such high of a cost. So we'll go for Nazary Tsventsov, he will help our relations with our vassals. Diplomatic reputation 1 will help us. A skilled politician, highly efficient in governmental matters and responsibilities of the state. And our third advisor, a military advisor, could have the land force limit modifier 10% from Andrei von Buxhoevden or Nestor Telyatevsky with fort defense. I mean, we could argue that our king is probably more on the defensive side for now, so that would not be bad. But he has only one fort, or two forts here. One in Moshaisk and one in Moskva. So, land force limit modifier is also not too bad, because we need our force limits to control our vessels. So that's what we need to do. Like we need to try to keep our vessels in check, because they have quite some liberty desire. And the main thing that we can stop to limit that liberty desire is to have more forces. So we have to look at our military now. We'll see our land force limit. Currently capable of supporting a total of 32 land units without penalties. And we have 24 of these. We have 6k here in Ryazan. No, that's the army of Ryazan. We have 11k here. And we have 13k here, so we have 24. So we should definitely raise that to the absolute limit, to in turn limit our vessel's liberty desire. And we have a great leader here, Dmitry Shemyaka. Wow, he has 3 fire. That is not that good at the beginning. We have 4 shock. That is crazy good. And 3 maneuver. I love maneuver. So wow, he's going to be wow. If it comes to a war, we'll have a great asset here. We have infantry, Druzina cavalry, Barchidice infantry. I mean, another thing is, will we go for Western tech sooner or later? Do you think we should do that? I mean, we really might go for that. So, we'll invest the income that our vassals give us, probably in return of some troops, because we really need troops to keep them in check. But now we see why the land force limit modifier would be good, And I think we should take him. He's also younger, so we'll maybe have him a little bit longer. So we'll go for Andrei von Buxhovden. So very nice. So we have our advisors set up. They would probably also have some influence in that. So the prestige guy, I don't know. He would probably tend to prestige decisions then. There is a decision coming up. Then Navari Svensov, diplomatic reputation, he would probably see to it that we're not getting blamed or getting like we are not seen as the bad guy in all of these relations. And Andrei von Buxhovden, oh my god, what that name. He would probably see to it that we have more army, like that our army is strong. That would be his main motivation. So, what else should we do? We could see to our missions. I mean, improving prestige. Not really, right? I mean, we would have to lead a war for that. Or wait for a very long time. Improve relations with Tver. That is easy enough. Like, get 100. 100. With Tver, that is very easy. Conquer Novgorod, that would be a great goal, but it's far off. And I think we should improve relations with Tver, because it is quite easy, as you see here. We're at plus 10 at the moment. We can just improve relations, and all will be good. Even though they want our provinces, they are open even for alliances, so... Now, for alliances, yeah, we already have all the diplomatic relations we can have because of our vassals, so we cannot go for that, but we can improve, just improve relations and maybe go for a short action like that later on, so we'll improve relations with Tver. We'll get even more diplomatic reputation for that. So we'll send someone in here to improve relations. Then let's look at our vessels again. Pskov is maybe a little not on the best side with us and has also one of the highest liberty desires. So we might just send a diplomat here. Let's see to it. And that is also like our way to maybe the Eastern Seas, the Baltic Seas. Well, that would be the way to improve here. Then, I mean, there's a lot to look up again for the trade. First, we want to concentrate on the political things. So we have a castle here. Yeah, that's pretty good. And we might just build some army here, some regiments. So let's look at our structure. At the moment, we have 6,000 cavalry and 18,000 infantry. And I think we could add maybe 2 infantry and 1 cavalry for the start. Here and maybe here as well. It's quite costly, but it will definitely limit the liberty desire of our vassals. And treasury is not going to grow that much at the moment. But I mean, the first thing to go for us is to control our vessels better. And then maybe start integrating them. because that's like how we can free up more relations and in turn become more powerful directly instead of just waiting for our vessels that hang on us like fleas. And we'll also keep these guys off us. And we can see Novgorod. Novgorod is already our rival, so we can define them as a rival of us too. So we have enemies: Lithuania, Novgorod, and Denmark. I have no idea why exactly Denmark, because Denmark is far away. That is not really... I mean, it might be an enemy of us, but it is not really a danger. We'll try to just limit this to Novgorod first. We'll need someone else at least. Like one guy else. Who could that be? That's the question. In the Great Horde and Kazan, we're happy to have them off our back. Maybe we can improve relations. They're not... I mean, they want our provinces, but they're not powerful enough. Lithuania is already our rival, as you can see here. So, can't do anything against them, really. We might just make them our second rival to have some kind of advantage when dealing with them. And we'll wait for the third rival selected, and maybe we can go one relation over that and maybe enarmor Ryazan or something. I mean, Ryazan will probably not accept a vassalization, but we could go for an alliance with them. They have, as enemies, they have Ordoyev. These guys here. And they would accept to be vassals. I think we should first improve relations and see how that goes. And then start worrying about these guys. Maybe we could, in the future, if we see some claims here on their provinces, by, for example, the Great Horde, or Kazan even, then we could try to support their independence. Like here, if we have a Lithuanian claim here, we'll try to support their independence. And then we can defend them and so go for a not that dangerous war. So next thing, what would we do with our administrative power? I'm always a fan of having stability, and I think our Grand Knyaz and his wife are also fans of that, due to their talents being more on the diplomatic and administrative side. Our heir doesn't have much to say yet. I mean, he's playing with his wooden sword right now, and he's very enthusiastic with that, as you can see here, but he doesn't really have a big say yet in what to say. I mean, if he would be like 15 or even 20 and even the heir, then we would include him. But he's 4 right now. He wouldn't have that much to say. So I think they will be going, say, hey, we should have an effort to improve stability in our country. I think we can do that, and we also have a great administrative power increase, so we can afford it too. Our king, our Knyaz, will do that. So, we have set up the diplomatic stuff as the Knyaz probably would do. We'll concentrate on our rivals, and we'll concentrate on our vassals to help us, and maybe to integrate them. We'll see to it that we'll look at the merchants in the next episode, and at the estates, and all kinds of things like that. And we'll, of course, start to run the game a bit then. But the start is always like a big setup for the things to come in EU4. So we'll have like just a look at how our land looks. It's forests. It's forests all along. There are some more urban areas here that there's not that much of a forest. But especially, I mean, in general, we're looking at woods. We might as well be elves. The Muscovian elves. Protecting our Orthodox faith from the great Sunni invasion here. And on the other hand, the Catholics, they call themselves Catholic. Catholic, like from the root of the word, means universal. And the Orthodox faith is also called really the Orthodox Catholic faith because they also have a universal approach. They think this is like a universal faith for everyone. As the Catholics think that theirs is the universal faith. Like the Protestants don't have that Catholic part, but the Orthodox have it. Like they claim to be the one faith as the Catholics would do. Like this is the eastern part of the Roman Christian Roman Empire, so to say. It's the western part of the Christian Roman Empire. And we're belonging to the eastern part. We're in an uncomfortable position from the faith. Like on the left side, or on the left side. On the west side, we have the Catholics threatening us, represented by Lithuania very much. And to the east, we have the Sunni faith and some smaller faiths here. And we have friends that we could maybe try to protect once we have resolved the problems in our own lands. Once we have cleared that up in Muscovy, we'll try to protect what is left of Circassia here. And maybe free Constantinople here. So this would be long-term goals that we would go for. Like so long-term enemies would probably be the Ottomans, representing the destroyers of the former capital of Catholic faith. I mean, politically, we would be thankful that Muscovy and Moskva is getting so much more importance now that Constantinople will be falling. But religiously, we're definitely on the side for a crusade to regain Constantinople. And it will also be very, very good for us politically, what we could reach there. So, and of course, one of our long-term goals would also be to form Russia. Could have a short look at what is needed to do that. Form Russian nations. What we would need is, we would have to get Novgorod, which is here. Then we would need to get Tver, of the Tverians, or the Tver. Then we would need to get Tver or Yaroslavl, and Ryazan or Smolenskas. Here's Ryazan. So Ryazan should be easiest to get. Maybe if the empire or the kingdom of Ryazan falls, we might wriggle the province of Ryazan from the hands of the Great Horde, or from Lithuania. We'll see about that in the future. So that said, thank you for watching. Happy gaming to you. We'll see each other in the next episode, where we'll try to make more and hopefully good decisions for the future of our Kniaz and of Muscovy and the Orthodox faith. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next episode. Have a good time until then.